writing poetry can be kind of scary and intimidating, especially when I'm going to ask you, I want you to share your poetry with your fellow students today. I want them to look at your poems that you wrote. Now, to make it easy, you can just pick whoever you wish to exchange poems with. Okay? Can you do that? If you have your 3 haiku written out, just find someone to exchange with. Okay? Got it. So you might have to do a little three-way exchange or something. We'll make sure somebody trade with me. Okay. All right. So let's backtrack a moment. You wrote these haiku. Again, what is the purpose of a haiku? What is a haiku supposed to do?
Capture nature.
Capture a scene, an image in nature, right? And it should be written in
Present
the present tense. And the syllable structure?
575.
575. Okay. This is what I want you to do as you read over your friend's haiku there. I put one on the board that I wrote. I guess I can say last year was 2014, right? I wrote this last year. I want you to go through and look at their haiku. And again, we got to make sure they counted correctly, right? So, the cat's ear twitch is that 5?
Yes.
Yeah, off to the side there, just write 5. Crouching it ears through the leaves. Is that 7? Crouching. Yeah, so write 7 there. Silently, that's 3. It stalks. And that's 5. Okay, so I have my syllables correct. So make sure that all of their syllables are correct. Now, the other thing, the important thing about poetry is always trying to find the right word to create the perfect image. Is there any way you think I could make that poem better? Think I change a word or something? Do you see the image in the first, the cat's ear twitches? Can you see a little cat's ear twitches like that? Crouching, it peers through the leaves. As I reread that last night, I was thinking I could probably change a word in there to make it more
Instead of
clear.
the leaves, could you say the brush?
The brush, okay. So maybe you say, maybe we can change that word. If you see a word in one of their lines that you think you could change, underline it, and off to the side or at the top, here's through the brush. Okay. Is there, when you think about cats crouching outside hunting something, is it leaves they're crouching in, or is it something else?
Grass.
Is it grass? Okay, and both of these are what? Both of those are single syllable words, so they can replace the one that's there, right? That's important too. Okay, so maybe crouching appears through the grass. Right? Silently it stalks. Maybe do I need a different verb there? Then could I have a better verb?
Prowls.
Prowls, maybe? Okay, let's underline this.
You could say strikes.
Okay, that changes the meaning of it, doesn't it? It does. Maybe we could say strikes. Yeah, I kind of like that. Silently it strikes, and you can see the cat. My cat hunts the chipmunks in the backyard, right? So, go through their 3 haiku. Okay, and I want you to count their syllables for each one. Some of you have started to do that already. And just underline a word or two in each one and give them a suggestion of maybe a better word that creates a better image. The second day, they'll bring in their 3 haiku. We look over them in class.
and edit them and see if we can make them better images, find better words and phrases to describe what they are trying to say. And then we rewrite the haiku. Then we'll look at more examples of Sijo, maybe modern Sijo. I even use Linda Sue Park's kids' book about Sijo so they can have visual images along with the words on the page.
Okay. Have we had a chance to look at everyone's haiku, count the syllables, maybe make a suggestion or two on each one? Now again, we emphasize the word suggestion. You ultimately, when you get your haiku back, you are the author, you are the poet. You make the final decision. Maybe when you turn it into me, I say it's all wrong, you have to change it. But no, this is more of a creative assignment. So, ultimately what you decide, as long as it fits the form, right? You should go with what feels better. I changed, I'll show you in a minute, I think the mountain biking haiku that I had on the board, remember that one? I think it was the next class that told me one of the words was wrong and they made me change it. And then the word I changed it to was better. So let's you take those back and y'all can play with those over the weekend.
Will they be due Monday?
Yeah, go back and fix them and then I'll have you write some Sijo this weekend too. So what I'm going to ask you to do is you go back, you look at your haiku and tweak them a little, right? Do I need to add a syllable here or there? Can I change one word to make the image more vivid, more exact? Okay. Then you can think, okay, now I've got to take that image and make a Sijo out of it. Okay. Remember we saw and read examples of Sijo last class. What do Sijos do that's more than just an image?
They have a turn at the end.
They have the turn at the end. There's a new way to look at the situation, a new way to consider the idea. Sometimes they even tell like a little story, right? Remember, who acted out the monk scene here? Camden and Mary Margaret. Yeah, so it told a little story about a monk walking across a bridge and someone tried to talk to him, but he wouldn't stop. Sometimes it's just contemplating a situation about the guy who lived in the woods and his friends were bamboo and rocks and the rising moon. That's all he needed. So what I've done is I've kind of taken the image there of the biking through the woods with the flowers and everything, and in the first two lines I've just expanded on that idea. Pedaling through the forest, dappled sun on the handlebars. Okay, so I added another image there, right? Maybe evokes more of spring, right? You know what dappled means?
Tried, experimented on this.
No, that's
like
dabbled.
Oh.
Dappled is like, when
Like when it goes through the leaves?
when it goes through the leaves, right? You have little spots of sunlight there, especially in the spring. You notice that, right? So that furthers the image, and I sort of combined the last two lines. They're the sweet smell of honeysuckle and the flash of wildflowers. Right. So, but then, okay, I've just expanded upon that image. Now I need to add a twist, a turn, a new way to look at the situation. That sounds great, right? A beautiful forest setting, the flowers smell nice, but I'm also doing what?
Working.
Almost makes one forget your straining lungs, your burning muscles. Right? Oh yeah, that's hard work to bike, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially when you're going up a hill and you got to shift all the way down.
Or just get off and push it.
Or that happens when you're 45 years old. Sometimes you just get off and push it up the hill. Yes, that's what happens. Okay, so there's one example of that. Let me show you another one. I've played around with this a little bit. Okay. Here's my haiku without a title. Yellow tinted leaves begin tumbling to the ground. Birds sing in the trees. That's a simple nature image, right? But does that evoke a season? Fall. That's when the leaves are yellow, correct? Okay. And then when they start falling, yeller. Yeah, if you're, again, from the south, it's yellow. I heard it back there somewhere. Was that Ruiz? He's from far south. Okay. South of England. All right, so that's kind of a basic haiku. I could have written a better haiku, that's okay. But can I expand upon that? Is there already kind of an irony there?
Birds.
The birds? Yeah, when you think about birds singing, it's usually in the spring. So maybe there's already kind of a twist to the haiku. So, I expand upon that first image. Leaves tinted yellow and brown begin their gentle fall to the ground. Right? So I just take the image and I can add more detail and information to it, make it more vivid. Right? So, because instead of, let's see, that's 12 syllables, right? I expanded that to about 15. Okay, so I added more detail. Then, remember the second line of a Sijo, what does that do? The first line states the theme, and the second line sort of expands on the theme, adds more detail. So the morning fog covers the wilted, withering garden stalks. Okay, so again, does that kind of evoke what season? Fall, right? I was looking out at my vegetable garden in the back, and everything was already starting to die. Okay. But then I can also expand on this sort of little irony in the last line. Yet, in the still not leafless trees, birds chirp out their songs of spring. All right. So you see how that works, how you can take a basic image from a haiku and expand upon it. 15 syllables per each line or so. Again, 14 to 16 syllables, 14 to 16. 14 to 16, adding a little bit of twist or interest there at the end. Now, to inspire you and to show you that you can do this, before I send you off, you don't put your haiku up yet. I may have you write something here in a moment. We were going to look at some of the past prize winners from the Sijo contest, right? And I think I've got it pulled up the right way. Okay. Here, this is from 2012. Hollister Roan, what grade is she in?
Fifth.
She's in the 5th grade, and she won the whole contest. Dang. So you're in the 5th grade. How old are you in the 5th grade? 11? 10 or 11? 10 or 11? Okay. So you've got 5 or 6 years on her, right?
No, just
So you can do it. Let's see if this works, right? I can speak the language of tigers. I can understand their words. I can hear the honeybees, the bears, the lions, and the birds. I can tell the mice what's on my mind, and I've heard. Yes, I've heard.
So good.
That is good.
5th grade.
Oh, what did she?
It's a 5th grader before 12th grader.
You thought the second one should have won?
She has a little bit of rhyming going on.
Yeah, it doesn't even rhyme, and there's no rule against it. You don't have to make it rhyme, but if it does rhyme. So let's see the second one.
The first one's good, but I don't think that was my first one over the whole thing.
Seen old pictures, I think. Was I ever really that small? Were those pink hands and tiny ears mine? Because now I feel like Alice in Wonderland, far too big to fit in. Yeah. Well, this one's important for our class because this contains not just images, but in the last line, what would we call that, AP students?
Illusion.
An allusion to something we would know, right? Why does that illusion work? What about Alice in Wonderland?
It's a very popular movie.
Very popular movie, but what happened to her in the movie or in the book? Yes. Yes. She got too big and couldn't fit through the hole, right? So, a couple examples there. Yeah. Oh, you want to see Brandon's? Remember Brandon? Graduated 2 years ago.
Pulaski to the sea.
Yeah, they were riding on the bus out to the playoff football game, right? Which county was that? I don't remember.
Giles.
Giles County, that's it, yeah.
I didn't know.
So he
won
was,
that.
he was,
Hilarious.
he was taking a nap. He was taking a nap on the bus.
So great.
I told you can write these poems by what you see out the window.
That's hilarious.
The vast white fields of snow fly by as I awake from a
I
nap.
realized it's going.
In surprise, I wonder if it is all a dream or reality. As I come to my senses, I realize it is cotton field. But see, y'all were hoping for snow last night, right?
Yeah.
When you woke up, it was just cotton fields. So there.
Well, it says it's third place tie, so who's the other one?
Well, okay, and then
What do you get for third
there were
place?
like 3 ties. To give you other perspective on this, a Korean American author named Linda Sue Park. She mostly writes young adult books. Have you read? But she has Tap Dancing on the Roof, which are Sijo poems for young children. And some of them are about school, but some of them are just about nature. So to show you, you can write a Sijo about anything. This one is called School Lunch. Could you write a Sijo about your school lunch? Probably. Okay. All right. Each food plopped by tongs or spatula into its own little space. Okay, that's the theme, right? I mean, is that how they do with the lunch ladies come by and they just plop the food down? Square pizza here, square brownie there, milk carton cube, rectangle tray. Right. That's a good image too. You can see you're carrying that little rectangle tray with all the shapes there. My snack at home after school, anything without corners. Isn't that clever? And then I like this picture. The square mouth. Is that how you eat at school?
Yeah. At a dinner.
A melon for eyes or something. So when you go home, you'd have Oreos, not Cheez-Its for a snack. All right, hey, I picked this one out for you because all the tennis players out there. Is anybody else tennis? That's right. State champ. Sorry. Yeah, we soon forget. We soon forget. Okay, this one's called tennis. Yeah. The state champ. All right. When the professionals play, it's like watching a metronome. They even have like an analogy there, right? Back and forth, right? They can go on volleys for like 5 or 10 minutes or even longer sometimes, right? Just back and forth. Racket to racket and back again. The ball keeps a perfect steady beat. Emphasizing the theme again. When I'm on the court with my friends, we improvise, jazz, hip hop. So what's the twist there at the end? How's their tennis playing? Swinging. It's not a regular rhythm, right? Maybe this should be for the non-state championship tennis players, right? So when you play tennis, right? I would always swing and it would just go over the fence, right? Home run. Let's start over, right? We're improvising. Okay. All right, so here's the trick. Everyone take out a brand new piece of paper. Brand new piece of paper. Brand spanking new.
Yes.
I have my 2 samples up there where I took a haiku and I turned it into a Sijo. What I would like you to try to do is to look at one of your haiku and start trying to make a Sijo out of it, right? So it's harder. You may not have enough fingers to count out 15 syllables, right? You get all twisted up there. Take the image from the haiku, right, and try to add more detail to it in one line. Okay? And don't worry about trying to count syllables just yet. Just know that you have to put a lot of detail in there. So once you get that, the hardest part sometimes about writing, especially creative writing, is just getting something down on paper, right? Get it down on paper first. So maybe when I wrote this first line, pedaling my bike through the forest, the sun shone brightly on my handlebars, right? Maybe that's what I put down first. But then I had to go back and count. Maybe that's not quite 14 to 16 syllables. What can I cut? What can I add? What can I do to make that image better? So just try to create an image in one line. And in the next line, it's going to do what?
Broaden it.
Broaden it, or add another aspect to the image, repeat the idea, repeat the theme. And then you just have to, well, eventually you'll have to come up with a little twist, turn, ironic comment about the first two lines. Okay. So let's practice this. Let's see if we can get.
I will also show them haiku that I have written, and then I've turned those images in the haiku into Sijo, and then I will ask them to do the same. The homework for that night is they will take their 3 haiku and try to take at least one of them and write a Sijo poem with that. But the whole homework assignment will be them to write 3 whole Sijo poems.
What I want you to do, okay, I want you to do 2 things. Go home, and I kind of want you to type these up to make them more formal. Listen, I want you to go back and look at your 3 haiku, right? Type those up and see if you can look at the suggestions your friend gave you. Can you make them better? Did you come up with a new idea? It doesn't have to be their suggestion. If you look at it again, I can make it better this way. Try to make the 3 haiku better. I think most of you have at least one Sijo, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Do we only have to have one?
Well, right now. This is where you're going to hate me. I want you to come in. I won't see you again until Monday. Can you bring in 3 typed Sijo?
By Monday?
On Monday, yes. You can do it.
Hard enough writing one.
Well, it took you about 10-15 minutes to do one, right? It's too cold and dark to go outside. You just stay in and write poetry, right? No, that's not it. That wasn't in your plans for the weekend. Again, and maybe where I think you saw maybe some of my ideas. Again, I just like to sit at my kitchen table and look out my back window. Again, you can write about it. You can write about tennis. You can write about soccer. You can write about, I don't know, eating Eggo waffles on a Saturday morning. If you want to get me, that could be the Eggo waffle Sijo, right? That's. Is everyone good and pointed in the right direction there?
Yeah.
You think you can do this?
So we have to type the 3.
Haiku.
Oh, we're doing that.
And then I want you to type 3 Sijo.
Okay.
Okay, so you already have the 3 haiku. You just tweak them a little bit. Because I'll show you next week, you're going to enter the Sijo contest. We're going to pick one of yours and submit it. You can only submit one. But there's also a haiku contest that you can enter, that I have students enter every year. I'll show you more how to do that next week. There's online entry forms and everything you have to fill out.
When we edit the haiku, I usually have students swap pages with someone else, and I'll have them count the syllables, have them see if their images are clear enough, precise enough. If there's a better word they can use in one place, I'll have one student cross out a word and suggest a change and edit. Then they'll give those poems back to the original student, and they can decide whether they want to rewrite them that way or not. Then the 3rd day of the lesson, after they bring in their 3 Sijo, we will do the same thing with the Sijo. I'll have them count the syllables in each line and then see if there's a way that the students can improve their images, their word choice, by having their fellow students look at the poems and edit them.
My Sijo was about the winter in the Appalachian Mountains, and then my twist was that it was the setting of a Civil War battle. I think the easy part was kind of going based off of my haiku that I previously wrote and kind of mixing the two together. The harder part was developing it in the second line and then finding the twist I can use.
It was really interesting. It's a lot harder than the haikus, but just making the haikus longer and more detailed was really fun to do.
I thought it was interesting how that people can create poetry out of like a base structure, but the topics can all be very different and they can all have very different meanings. The most challenging part was definitely finding the topic to write about, but once you had the base, you could build upon that and it made it a lot easier. In the second line, you have to broaden your topic a little bit more, which is a lot more challenging because you have to think of more details to use. And the most challenging part is definitely the twist at the end, thinking of something that's clever and that can fit in the structure of the Sijo.
At first, I did write kind of a longer poem. I think I had around 18 or 19 syllables in the lines in the first time, and I knew I kind of had to cut it down. I had a few bigger words in there, but I kind of tried to find as meaningful words as I could to fit the syllable pattern. So if I had a really, really long word that I really liked, I would keep it in there, and then I would cut some of the other ones down. So I tried to keep the more descriptive words in there. I wrote about a veteran, in the Army. I was inspired by that. My grandfather fought in World War II, and I was kind of just thinking of something, because usually they have kind of a happy vibe or a nature vibe, and they kind of turn it on its head, go something a little bit darker, and see if that would get any attention. I would say just kind of practice writing it. It's really fun to do, having a good pattern to follow, and it's more advanced than a haiku would be. But try to think of some good topics, and you can either follow the guideline or have start off with kind of more nature-based things. They seem a little bit easy to write about, and then kind of go into your own kind of writing style, kind of diversify yourself a little bit in it. I learned a little bit more about the culture itself. We have a lot of exchange students here that are from Korea, and I talk to him all the time and try to learn all I can. I'm not an expert on it yet, but I have a basic understanding.
Well, I've been involved in trying to bring education about Asia into the classroom for years. I've not just taught about Korea, but Japan and China as well. Again, we are a very connected world. We deal with Asia and Asian cultures all the time. Especially here at our school, every year we get probably at least 10 Korean exchange students who come to study with us. And I think it's a good way for our students to learn about the culture of the kids sitting next to them in the classroom. I've always liked haiku, reading haiku, writing haiku. But what I like about Sijo is that it's a more complex poetic form, and especially for advanced students in high school and AP classes, I think writing haiku sometimes is almost too easy. They need a challenge, and I think it pushes their mind, expands their mind in a different way. I think having structured poetry for high school students is very good because it gives them an exact form to fit their ideas into. They have to limit their words, their images, what they can express. Sometimes if you give someone just a blank page and just say, write, they're so intimidated by that, they can't put anything down. But if you say, okay, you just have to write 17 syllables, or you just have to write a line with 15 syllables, and then another one, and then another one, I think it's a really good starting place to get students to become creative writers. However, sometimes students can be intimidated by, oh, I have to fit my ideas into that narrow box. But that's kind of rare. I think students enjoy having a form to fit their ideas into instead of just being given full creative license just to write whatever.
We are a Catholic high school under the direction of the Diocese of Knoxville. We have a bishop, we have a superintendent. We have been in existence since 1876. Next year will be our 140th year of existence. Currently, we are about 400 students. This is not only Catholic, but it's a college preparatory school. So everybody who comes with the idea that we are getting them ready for college. Not all of our students have to be of the Catholic faith. About 70% are Catholic, nor do all of our teachers have to be of the Catholic faith, except those who do actually teach in the religion curriculum. Our vision is to get students ready for a life that we don't even know exists yet. Technology's changing. The jobs that many of them have don't even exist yet. So we're trying to help them learn now. We certainly want them to be successful at the college level, but help them learn in such a way that they can function well in the world that is coming at them.